obviously tough start, but yet again you fought your way back into it.
Yeah, I thought our defence was nothing short of pathetic. Beginning of the game, flimsy, chesty defence, rather than using your shoulders to transfer, I suppose, a bit of aggression in the game. Slippy surface. If you're into people with your shoulders, you can force errors, as we found out at times. But yeah, I thought we missed the start, didn't we? And 18-0 was a long road back.
Showed a lot of spirit to get back into it. I mean, I was sort of repeating ourselves out with, but
Yeah,
it could have gone, pretty.
Yeah,
solid.
look, I'm proud of their effort. Yeah, I think we've been good on that front. They did keep turning up and trying, but we're dumb. We're not good enough. We're not good enough to turn up on a Sunday and dip in and out of a plan we've worked on all week. It's a recipe for disaster, but we keep doing it. So until the boys want to change that bit and get disciplined about what they're doing, we'll have a few more of them to deal with.
Is it a counterbalance there? Not happy with the first half, but second half something.
No, second half we played dumb again. They go. Listen, this isn't rocket science. They go down to 12 with Burgess got the sin bin. We did score in that period, but very simple. Once they've got one down, most people know that if you hit the middle of the field, 2 marks in a full, that's 3 blokes. They'll have 5 on one side and 4 on the other, and you just got to have your eyes up and go for the side that they take the 4, and you'll have plenty of space. 4 blokes in about 30 metres or so. It's a lot of room for them to defend, but we come up with we're going down short sides and whatnot and making it easier for them in that period. That's kind of my message for the boys. I'm sure they'll all be searching social media and whatnot for their own name and the comments and stuff. So hopefully they'll listen to this one. They've had it once in there, but we aren't good enough to do that. We're not good enough to just make it up. It needs to be deliberate what we're doing if we want to get anything out of it.
So is it more sticking to the plan rather than playing off the cuff? Is that what we're getting at?
Yeah, I mean, first half, listen, they're a decent team out. They're used to being in tough contests and they turned the ball over a lot, close to our line, and then we'd practiced. Well, we expected them to be really tight and come and rush us and make life difficult for you to get out there, as most teams do. And there's a smart way, there's a tough way of doing things, and there's a smart way of doing things. If you want to run at the teeth of them all day, you can't get out of your ends and you're kicking out of your 30. We need to be braver and smarter. I don't think we're brave enough often enough.
Carlos went off today, so David coming on. First of all, how is Carlos? Is it an knock?
Yeah, look, Carlos obviously he's on the back of a significant hammy injury, and I believe, obviously not been that long, but I know he's had hamstring injuries before that have hindered him. So, yeah, he's been feeling it all week, but mate, we're not in a position where we can give everyone a rest and whatnot. We haven't got enough numbers to do that, and obviously he's gone out and played, and it's not rocket science again, but you can't stop at half time, you stop moving, you cool down, the risk is greater again, and after what he's been through recently with his hamstring, it wasn't a smart decision for him to continue. So David jumped in, and I thought David did a really good job. He gives us what David gives you his energy, and obviously come up with some good players for us as well.
So we talked about David the fullback, but for David the centre, that was a pretty good account.
Yeah, I mean, David he's put his flag to the mast and he wants to be a fullback, but utilities can be really useful for any team and useful for the individual as well. But yeah, he's definitely got some attributes in there, hasn't he, that can be really useful. But again, with David going off piece a bit here, but I think for him it's playing games, a significant number to get the experience in the position, if you like, and I don't think centre's out of question for David moving forward in his career, but yeah, he'll have a few strings to his bow, I think.
Local Moy, another eye-catching performance. What do you make of it? First senior derby?
Good, I thought, obviously, the first one, put the first bomb down, didn't shake him, did it? I think he got on with it. Got him on the ball a bit. Again, I think Moy needed to just do some things, not so much selfish, but get his players on the stuff he's good at. But again, I'll go along with the rest of them in that definitely weren't smart enough or deliberate enough in what we were doing to get the best out of any individual on field or the team, to be honest. So yeah, again, you'll go on about and ask all these young lads. We had a lot of young lads out there today. I thought they did okay, just okay. Tried hard, certainly, but we just need to get smarter.
When we talk about getting smarter and obviously sticking to your plan, is there any specifics you can share there that you want to see from your side, particularly at the start of the game? and in those periods where you numerically got an advantage, as you elaborated earlier?
Yeah, I think repetition is probably the thing. So we're repping it in training and doing it well. Then we get to game, and we might carry. You have your point, your landmarks on the field. We might go beyond it, and then we'll still try to do the play when it changes things. So you need to land in. Yeah, I think in essence, what I'm saying is we need to be real deliberate to get what we've got, and then be disciplined to go repeat, because you're not going to get success every time you try something. If we can do the same play 40 times a game, we'll get something out of it eventually if we're disciplined and we're persistent enough to get on with it. But we're not deliberate enough in where we land the play, then we're not disciplined enough to keep repeating it. So we're making it up, essentially. That's the thing for us. I'd rather them go and do what we ask them to do every time, be really disciplined with it, and then I'll wear all the blame on that. But if we're going to make it up, we'll keep tossing it back to them and telling them how smart they need to get.
So 4 cards in the game, 2 for Hull, Brad Fash, Eve, Bromfield as well. What are your thoughts on those 2 incidents?
The Fash one, loads of running in, weren't there? I couldn't even see, obviously the screens weren't there, so I couldn't see a decent replay of what actually happened on that one. But that was 1 each, so it wasn't the worst case scenario. Second one, Deneve, dumb. He only just gone back on field. That's one where he looked like he'd played 70 minutes. You know, a lazy one where it was probably easier to do that than go and do the next bit. So yeah, disappointing on that one, because all it would have been hard. We were 18-10 at the time, was that? Yeah. You know, with 13 on field, I don't know. We might have been able to get a little bit closer. You know.
How was Liggy so after the game? Because he carrying a couple of knocks into it.
I hadn't spoke to Liggy yet, but he got through it. He's obviously struggled from the last game, but again, it's not like we've got blokes queuing up behind him, so even if he was sore, he's probably a bit more sore than he let on, to be honest, but that's the way of it sometimes. Sometimes senior players have to put their hand up and look after those young blokes and go and do it, but yeah, he got through, so hopefully he'll recover quickly for the next one. No worries.
Saying about using the young lads, does this season feel a bit more about developing the youth now rather than thinking of the playoffs, etc. That sort of
Playoffs, no. Yeah, I think that's gone, isn't it? No, I'm not even sure if numerically we could get there. I don't know. I think there's a lot of focus on next year, and everyone's talking about we're going to do this. Obviously, the recruitment news goes out, and I think there is optimism, and there should be. I think we will get better, and although yes, you're right, it is about youth, because we're not able to bring sufficient bodies in. We'll let people go. We haven't brought enough back the other way. It's a difficult market, I think. But yeah, I think they're getting opportunities, aren't they? Which, irrespective of how we've planned to do things, it's certainly not how we plan to do it. Some of those lads have played a lot more than we'd anticipate they would have from the start of the year, but they're getting that exposure, which will do them good. The more they play, the less, because it feels. I think boys commented recently about how fast it feels. When it does feel out when you first go in, the more they play, they get to grips with the speed. The decision making gets better, and their energy gets better about the game. So it is all good, but it's still very painful at the same time.
And obviously you've had tries from Logan Moy and Lewis Martin today. You've had the fantastic break from David Litton, which sets up the position for Logan to try. Does it feel like those young lads are now making that impression that you're wanting them to make? Have they made a big impression on the whole derby today?
Well, I think they have, yeah. I think they're starting to look like Super League players, not just little boys anymore. But there's a long way to go with them. Physical development's a big thing. We call them kids at 18, year NRL, when they talk about a kid debuting at 21, 22. We're playing them well. Yeah, when in a late maturation sport, when kids are playing at 18, it's a fair feat, to be fair. And again, we have to be careful with it, because we don't want to overexpose. But at the moment, those lads they're obviously buzzing with playing. They're happy to keep turning up, and it's a good job as well, because as I say, we haven't got a heap of bodies to go in between. But we're happy with how they're doing. Part of our job, aside from making them and helping them get better, is keeping them on the ground as well, and understanding that there's a long way to go. And it's nice to see some improvement in them, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more over the next. We've got 11 rounds left, something like that, 10 rounds or whatever. There's still plenty left in them, but I don't want to focus too much on next year and whatnot. We want to keep trying hard, as everyone keeps pointing out, and patting us on the back for trying hard. But yeah, we need to concentrate on getting a bit smarter, and I think those lads will enjoy it a heap more. Those younger fellas getting some wins out there as opposed to them defeats.
One last thing, next week obviously it's the World Champions. How does this week look? What are you going to take from this game today that you're going to take into next week and take into that game against Wigan? What are the positives that you're going to
well, look, some of those bits in the game I spoke about where KR pinned us to our line and we weren't smart enough to come up with something different to get ourselves out of there. That'll be there this week. Wigan, good kicking game through Harry Smith, and a fit, aggressive team that enjoy defending. So we'll have to take some lessons out of that today when we're a little bit smarter and apply that way more often. Otherwise, we will be in our 20 for a lot of the game. They're a good team, aren't they? We know what's coming though. I hope they're all watching enough rugby to know that our focus will remain on ourselves and seeing if we can just repeat in training, and hopefully, whether by accident or by their choices and communication on game day, we get it done or not. We'll see.
Well, good. Thank you, everyone. Sorry, one more.
Is it a tricky one for you to balance? Because obviously there have been signs of improvement, but you're in the game to win, aren't you? And sooner or later you do need to develop that winning habit. Is that a tricky one to balance when you do speak to players about it?
Yeah, it is hard. They're disappointed as well. They want to win. I think there's a reality as well, though. I don't know how many of them lads could have played academy today, maybe 3. And then a couple that are not too much older than them. We've got a lot of kids playing at the same time, which I think, go back 3 months, we had this then, didn't we? And it was a tough period for us, but they're better now than they were then for the exposure they've had. But yeah, I'll be into Rich to see if we can't bring some bodies in to support them, because it's tough all game. You get into the second half of the season, the niggles start appearing and all those bits, and some people will need, for example, Herman, he's played every game, he's played big minutes. At some point we'll have to rest him, he won't like that, but for his benefit we need to. So we need a bit of support on that. But yeah, the balance bit, I think they're not just happy to be playing Super League, they're enjoying it. They do want to win, we all do, so we just got to dial in on what we're doing just to give ourselves a chance.
What about yourself, Dan, in terms of beyond this season? Are you on board into, will you go back to your assistant role, or what's happening yourself?
Well, obviously when I came I signed a 2-year contract, so yeah, I expect to be here this year as assistant.
You're working under Cartwright basically.
Yeah, that's the plan.